I'd rather for my man to tell me instead of lie to me about our situation before going cheating. I that's what I mentioned. I mentioned conversation is way more important. I'd rather for a man to not lie to me than to lie and cheat on me.
Do you really want to understand your man? That must suck for your man to tell you something and then somebody else tell you. And it's like, now I get it. Now I understand it. He looked like I just said the same thing.
Like sometimes it's about the approach. Sometimes not that I won't speak to my husband, but sometimes it's about knowing how a man think. I don't think like a man. So a situation may come up that I'm befuddled about, like, why did he get upset? Blah, 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 about this. And I'll call my brother-in-law like, yo, let me tell you this scenario. And he can give me advice based on a male perspective that I really would not have seen at all. And then that allows me to then go back and have a totally different conversation with my husband because I perceive something a certain way. Whereas just now here, these are prime examples of things that meant how perception, how things are seen very differently by men and women. So I'll go to my brother-in-law and I might ask him a question. He'll explain something. Nah, this is where you went wrong. Or no, you should have said it like this, because as a man, he gonna take it like that. And then I can go back and have the conversation. Same thing with my husband's like best friend. She's call him and be like, yo, he's talked her off the ledge. Like, because she has that male advice. No, it's not.
I'll explain why.
But I'm secure in my relationship. I trust my husband. And even for him, her man, they have a relationship. So that's what True was saying. I think it's disrespectful when the people aren't clear about the other person, right?
Okay.
I think that's where the disrespect comes in.
I think, in my personal opinion, and this is not a fact, but the way I see it, to say, oh, I don't understand a man, or I don't understand what he said, the way I feel like when I hear that, then this is the perfect opportunity for you to listen. This is the perfect opportunity for you to ask questions. This is the perfect opportunity for you to be like, what did you mean by this? Or when you said this, I took it like this. Or when this is the perfect opportunity to give your man a chance to learn how to communicate with you and level with you. Okay. But if you go to somebody else, then you're not fixing anything. If you want to understand him, talk to him. That's a part of getting to know him, and let those things stick. You're not going to have those things stick.
But when I got
different
married
with family.
But I'm saying, but when I got married, it was things that my daddy would tell me, look, baby, I can't help you with this. I can't. It's like sometimes your dad, your family should not be in like a marriage all the time. Like, it were things that my dad was like, you know what? I'd rather for both of you guys to get professional help, because sometimes family can mess up a marriage.
I don't disagree with that. I personally feel like what happens in this house, stay in this house, and I have some loyalty
But
to
not
you.
your
So
dad's
because
house. Your
Well,
dad,
I'm
your
not
dad can't
pushing
be
the
in that
whole thing
marriage.
about I'm not pushing the whole thing about talking to my dad and to my brothers. That wasn't never my
Yeah.
argument. I said that I want
Okay.
to talk to the source. I want to understand the source, because there's no way I'm laying down with you every day and I'm not going to take the time to consider your mind. I need to know your mind, because I need to know you to be able to understand you is
But
important. I got to
but
be
that's
on
what
point
I
at all times.
but that's why I talked about that lie when the first conversation that we talked about, when I said that I'd rather for my man to tell me instead of lie to me about our situation before going cheating. I That's what I mentioned. I mentioned conversation is way more important. I'd rather for a man to not lie to me than to lie and cheat on me.
I'm so thankful for
What's
the
the
men
cheap
in my
part of lie
life,
and cheap part in that?
for the advice that they
Yeah.
have given me. I'm so thankful. I'm sorry that y'all haven't had that experience.
Yeah, I have that.
So,
My dad
You know what I'm
is my
saying?
best
so
friend.
I'm
But
I wanted
thankful
to
for
ask,
the men in my life that can give me guidance on certain things, and it has nothing to do with a lack of communication with my husband. Like I said, we've been married 23, 24 years, but have been with each other 30 years. So that's not an issue in terms of communication. But sometimes there are things that, I mean, in a relationship, that sometimes you can't hear something that somebody's saying in the moment when your feelings are involved a certain way. Sometimes you need to step away and process.
That's why you take your
Sometimes you're seeing
time and you
different
be
things
patient and
a
you ask
different way.
questions
Even when
and
y'all
you
do
allow the
come
person to
together and have the
finish.
conversation, you still could be like, we literally had this conversation just now when we were talking about the difference between lying and deception, right? So we're still not seeing eye to eye. But sometimes me going to my brother-in-law, or me maybe having a conversation with my brother or something like that, can give me a whole different perspective, because my husband could only communicate the way that he knows how. When I having different views from somebody else, they, like my brother-in-law or my brother or whatever, that they can give me a different perspective that my husband couldn't, because he's limited into the way that he speaks. So when I have that conversation, I could say, oh, I could go back to him like, babe, now I get it. I understand what you were saying. And then we can rehash the conversation from a different level of understanding.
Okay, so
So
then what I have to say to that is, do you really want to understand your man? That must suck for your man to tell you something and then somebody else tell you. And it's like, now I get it. Now I understand it. He looked like I just said the same thing, but you didn't ask me no questions. You didn't care enough. It always comes down to, how much do you actually care? Are you listening to understand? Or are you listening to respond? You can't be listening
I
if you're
like how you
talking over me.
twisting
You
it.
can't be
That's
listening
good.
to me if you're running away to other people. You can't be caring if you are prioritizing other people's thoughts over the source. There's nothing more important than the source. You're not
Well,
going to
let
understand
me
more
just
than the
say,
actual person himself.
I get that, but
Mhm.
this
I
girl has
think
been
it's
married
not
for
more
20
important
plus
than I
years.
That's
know.
what I'm saying. And
Their
Shane, you
relationship
know our
works.
relationship. So
Their
it's not
relationship.
even.
So even this advice for somebody who doesn't even know their relationship, 20
I'm
plus
just
years, and
saying
they
in
are still
general.
like solid. Like, this ain't no, we just getting through it because they solid. They actually like being around each other.
But
Like,
I'm
she
just
will
saying in
diss me in a
general.
second. Yo, Tay filling up on me right now. Let me hit you back. Like,
That's not what I'm saying to her
no,
personal life.
no.
I'm
So
saying in
what we're saying,
general.
right, in
You're
general.
going to other people's I think versus when you can go to the I know. Why go for I think when you can have I know?
Because
I think that
sometimes
she
people I know is really there, I think, because they think they know.
This
That
is the
happens
perfect
all
opportunity
the
to ask
time.
questions to
Just
find out.
like
This is
right
when you
now,
guys
you
work
think
together.
you know my
Where is the
situation,
sportsmanship?
but
Where is
you
the
don't. You're
teamwork?
giving me
Where is
advice
the
that doesn't
sportsmanship?
apply.
Where is the teamwork?
20
When you
years.
guys come
But
to
You're
listen,
getting
communications
twisted.
let
together,
me let me just say this, because somebody in the thing said I'm capping, and let me just tell you, she dissed me yesterday for this is new on my mind. What I mean yesterday was like today, earlier today. So that's just that's their relationship. You gotta, when things are working for people, we can give you opinions, but it works for your relationship. We don't know your family dynamic. I know a lot of people who go to their fathers when they marry families. The father guides them. We do things a little different here. We're very individualized in the Americas, right? That's probably why it don't work. But some people rely on elders or people who've experienced things to get information from. And if that works for them, allow it to work for them. Obviously he doesn't have a problem with it.
And that's what I was gonna say. To each his own. Like that. That's definitely cool, because even he will talk to people too and have a different perspective. Because sometimes in a moment, and I don't know if you've experienced this in a relationship. I know I've heard men say this. I've heard women say this. That sometimes it is like hearing it from somebody else. Sometimes it gives you a different perspective. That doesn't mean that you don't respect what the person's saying, but sometimes you just can't hear it. And maybe you haven't experienced that, but I'll speak for myself. I have. And I am grateful. I have other men, I have other women in my life that can sometimes give me guidance. Just because I've been with my husband, it doesn't mean I know everything. It doesn't mean that he knows everything and he can't get it right. So having people in your life that want your marriage to succeed, like you do. I know we've moved away from having a village. Everybody's so secretive. Everybody is so, like that kind of stuff that you don't even know. You're talking about building a relationship with a man, but you can't build a relationship with other people. Like, you can't have a village. That's a whole purpose of people when they go to a wedding. The witnesses, all they have a response. They're supposed to, at least back in the day, they had a responsibility to your marriage as well.
And I and
Your
I
Okay,
elders,
and
but
I
all
would
the
say,
ones that are supposed
hold
to
let me
on.
pour
let me
into
just say
y'all to
this,
help
Crystal.
your marriage, move along.
Let me
And the
just say
fact that
this.
we've moved away from that, we want to be so like, oh, I can't share nothing. It'll be that one person that can give you the advice that can maybe save your life.
Let me just say
or
this. I
or
think
save
that
your marriage,
Ma'am,
and you're
let me say
like,
this
ma'am,
well,
real
no,
fast.
you
how
got to be
can
so private. But
Let
how
me
it's
just say
can a
this.
okay to
man
each
hold
his
on?
own.
How can a
Let me just say
man
this, Savage, real fast. This is not for everybody.